Wrestling Underground. I am your host, as always, Chad Porto, and joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Should be a packed show.
Yeah, we got a few big topics for this side of the conversational line. As always, we are doing this double style. That doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to post a tweet while talking, so maybe we'll get it right. I don't know. Maybe I got the URL right. We'll see. What we do usually every week is we do half on the YouTube. That's this half. And then we do another half on the download, which you're going to be able to find in the YouTube broadcast. But we record live on twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. So if you want to join us every Tuesday night around 10 o'clock, we go live. So, be sure to set your times and your clocks and your thingamabobs to about 10ish and hop on by. So, I'm on the wrong photo. So we're going to start this week with Full Gear. And Marcus, we're not going to hit this beat by beat. I heard some things on, holy God. Is 8 matches and they all went 17 minutes. Ugh. Why did Sammy Guevara go 20?
It was cinematic, Chad. Your favorite match. It was cinematic. They did it on the Hardy compound. It's all kinds of shenanigans.
So that's the thing, I guess. They're clearly setting up Kenny Omega to win the title. He defeated Hangman Page. I'm going to hit these beat by beat, Marcus, and then I'm going to throw it to you to tell me what you think was the most relevant things to discuss going forward. Omega defeated Page. Orange Cassidy defeated John Silver. Who? Darby All-In defeated Cody Rhodes to win the TNT Championship. That's adorable that his 125-pound ass bounce off the ring apron again. Dumbass. Every time I watch him, I feel like I go full Red Foreman. It's not even a thing.
He's basically Kenny if he had autonomy.
Essentially. Hikaru Shida defeated Nyla Rose to retain the AEW Women's Championship. Go figure, it was on the middle of the show. Shocking. The Young Bucks defeated the FTR in a 30-minute match. Huh. I'm going to just assume, knowing the two teams involved, this did not live up to the hype. But you're going to correct me or not correct me here in a couple seconds, so we'll wait. Matt Hardy defeated Sammy Guevara in the Elite Deletion match. Matt, it's time to retire the idea, man. Elite Deletion, Final Resolution, Deletion, Completion. You're done. You're done, Matt. You're done. MJF with Wardlow defeated Chris Jericho. If MJF won, he and Wardlow are allowed to join the Inner Circle. Can we just point out the Inner Circle is the worst stable in wrestling? Are we all in agreement with that? Like, considering who's in that stable, the name, Chubbs Jericho, like, we're good. And then in a main event I Quit match, Jon Moxley defeated Eddie Kingston. Marcus, thoughts on the event?
Look, it was a fine show. It didn't personally really do anything for me. I think I've enjoyed episodes of Dynamite more. Obviously, all this is subjective, but I mean, you kind of pretty much called it. I think probably understated at this point to say Kingston's a star, even if he's losing. Moxley continues to do his thing as a great champion. They got stuff going on with Taz having Cage and Ricky Starks being, I guess, ranked. Well, Ricky isn't even in the rankings, and Cage is number 1, but they got no play on this show, so that's the whole thing, and they're constantly attacking Darby Allin and whatnot. But mostly, I mean, it was just an okay show to me. I'm not really a huge AEW mark or anything, so it was better than Bound for Glory, but that wasn't exactly a high bar. So, and for, like you said with Matt, the cinematic stuff got to end. Like, it's done. And I've been a fan in the past, but this was they had Helms and Gangrel show up it's some callbacks, but no, it's done. Like it's time to move on to something else, or just retire, dog. Like what's I mean, how many times did he almost die in this feud alone? So you know.
So in the South, there's kind of a thing that I know only because I've been to Florida more times than I wish I could actually claim
Oh, about to say,
to.
I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah, it's not great. There's a big thing with electrified chicken wire down in the South. Like, for whatever reason, even if you don't have chickens, there's plenty of it to go around. Marcus, I once got pushed into a full activated thing of chicken wire that electrocuted the shit out of me. That was more pleasant than Bound for Glory. And I was chattering for a full day, and my fingers were like twitching for the rest of the week. It's not pleasant. Still better than Bound for Glory. It's not good. Not good even a little.
We're gonna get to the end of this year and rank which monthly special. We're gonna be ranking the monthly specials like they're real pay-per-views instead of.
Well,
No.
if the next one was a Sacrifice, Turning Point, one of them is, right?
Yeah, it's Turning Point. Yeah, I think it's Turning Point.
Like, Turning Point, like, all right, like, I didn't know I wanted this one, but Sheik Abdul Bashir or Sean Navari, whatever we're calling him, is taking on Eddie Edwards. I'm here for it. Gonna be a lot better than Swan and Eric Young. Oh my God, what? Why even? Why? I agree with you with the Eddie Kingston comment. That dude's a star, but he's like, I've been on Eddie Kingston's train since like 2010, since he was the grand champion of Shikara. And
This is
like
true.
the first time he came into Impact as a member of the Death Council. Ugh.
Oh yeah, DCC Death Crew Council. Yeah.
Death Crew Council. Death Council actually sounds better. But neither are really good. I was like, oh my God, Kingston, he's amazing. I'm so happy. And then like he was gone. I'm like, what? Boo! And then he came back to lead the OGs. I'm like, yeah! And then the OGs lost, and then he was gone. I was like, boo! And like, I want to watch him in AEW because Eddie Kingston's goddamn spectacular.
Brilliant.
But I cannot stand that booking. I'm sorry, but the Young Bucks and FTR match was like hot shotted. Like they got like what 4 weeks, 3 weeks to build up to it.
Yeah, and the NBA women's matches are killing the AEW women's matches. Like I'm more interested, like the Sienna and Allison Kay and Serena D match. By the way, she looks great. That match was better than the actual pay-per-view match.
I'm not even surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we all know why Shida's the women's champion now after we got the video game release. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh my God, we'll get there. That's gonna be last up on the show tonight is the trailer. So let's switch gears and talk some New Japan. Power Struggle was Friday morning, Thursday morning, Saturday morning, Tuesday morning, Friday, Saturday, happy days. Saturday is the day we give it all back to you. These days, all right, so we had Shingo Takagi versus Minoru Suzuki. It's weird that New Japan booked a one-match pay-per-view, but I'm fine with it. This was awesome. These two sociopaths decided that they were going to try to literally kill each other. And I'm sitting there going, I have no problem with this. This is fine. Marcus, we are both big fans of Shingo and Minoru. Thoughts on these two lunatics going at it? We'll get to the rest of the card, but be honest, this is what we were all here for, and we all got what we were expecting.
Huge fan of Shingo, man. He instantly became one of my favorites when he shortly after he debuted. And even when he did debut, he just had this aura about him, the swag about him that just screamed, "I'm the shit." He's just proven it every sighting I've seen him since. So him going against Minoru, and this was not their first meeting, but this could have main evented any show. Certainly this year. But, you know, think in the last decade. I mean, this was brilliant, and you know, did one of the rare things you rarely see in a Minoru Suzuki match where Minoru got knocked the hell out. It's very hard for people to get to the end of a match with Minoru Suzuki, much less knock him on his ass, or even, you know, even more than that, knock him out. So the fact that that guy did, bringing the full circle to him taking the title, the never openweight title off of off of Shingo earlier this year, and basically didn't dog walk him, but he pretty much, you know, kind of dominated him a little bit in the G1. So this really brought things back full circle, and really that's what that title is about. All these, I think Rocky called it the BMF title. I guess that's bad mofos. That's exactly what these dudes is. I mean, Minoru Suzuki is the only living individual I'd put in a fight against Darkseid. Because he's just that good. I feel like you take Omega beams and then stand up and smile while half his head's missing. Like I just...
The rest of the cards, Toru Yano defeats Zack Sabre Jr. by countout for the Kabod 2020 trophy. That's the King of Pro Wrestling 2020 trophy, which is a stand-in provisional title for the upcoming King of Pro Wrestling Championship. This was a no corner pads match. Okay, it's fine. I don't know what are we really expecting here. Because Chico Okada apparently signed a new contract because he's getting paid by the minute. That would be the only reason to explain why Okada went 13 minutes with Great Okan. Sometimes you just got to go, what the fudge? Marcus, I'll be honest, I haven't been following New Japan on a week-to-week schedule as much as I want to.
Yeah.
They've been airing both Japanese and American-based products, and with that, Primetime Wrestling Live, Ring of Honor, MLW set to come back, Impact. There's just too much, man. Some shit's falling through the wayside. So I don't know if Great Okan is supposed to be like this big thing.
Yeah, apparently he's part of this new faction with Ospreay called what it was, the Kingdom, which I'm like, okay, that's
plagiarism.
Plagiarism. Yeah, I mean, that's like I didn't know what the hell it was. The fact he was in the faction with Ospreay, and with I'm guessing the girl I saw was Bea Priestley or somebody else. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, the dark-haired Ravenest woman is Will Ospreay's girlfriend, Bea Priestley, fresh off her AEW run.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to care. I guess the real thing that came out of that was Ospreay's talking about he used Okada to get the shine, but now he needs to take him out so he can be the guy. He was like he's going to end his career. I'm like, that's cool and everything, but unless you make him put his career on the line or something, you can beat him. That don't mean he's going to stop. Like whatever. It's hard for me to care about anything Ospreay related these days because, you know, he's on TV, but he's still in that hole with everybody else.
Yeah, fortunately for him, he does have a grip, unlike the rest of the people.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of just fell into the Ozzie Smith black hole of emptiness or whatever the mystery spot of emptiness from The Simpsons where Ozzie Smith fell in. That's where Joey Ryan and the rest fell into. So it's a thing, people. It's a thing. Kenta defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi for the United States Championship Challenge, United States Championship Rights Certificate. So I didn't know they were doing a rights certificate for the U.S. title. Was this a thing that was this like a crowned in a tournament or something? I really should.
You talking about the? Well, you talking about the it was briefcase, the whole briefcase thing, and then because that was the New Japan Cup deal.
So you won the New Japan Cup, and you get the U.S. title?
A shot at the U.S. title.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Okay.
Shot at the U.S. Yeah.
Okay, so Kenta defeated Tanahashi. I guess he won to retain it. Okay. I completely forgot that Kenta fucking won a tournament this year. 2020 has been a forgettable year.
You also got to remember that the guy he's going after is in a completely different country, but also the champion of the U.S. champion being what to
Moxley.
call him, Dean Ambrose, but Moxley. Yeah, so yeah, it's easy to forget that because he's never there, but which makes it more difficult now. But yeah, so that happened. And he's been smashing Tanahashi over the head with the thing, so much so that he put a hole in the briefcase. So that happened.
That sounds lovely. Kota Ibushi won the G1. Am I incorrect in remembering that?
No, he won back to back, first time ever somebody's done that.
Well, so at least they're not taking him out of Wrestle Kingdom, but they are switching up the nights, so it kind of makes me think that Kota's the sacrificial lamb. This is the one thing I do not like about New Japan at the moment. I don't have a problem with Naito wrestling both nights, because you could, perceivably end one night as Intercontinental with the Intercontinental title, and then the other night is with the Heavyweight title. But they're having him defend both belts on both nights, or at least, the idea is that they're having the champion, be it Naito or in this case Kota Ibushi, defend the belts or wrestle for the belts on the first and second nights of the Dome show.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, it's apparently because the result of the match was Kota lost to Jay White, who clearly, as he's been doing throughout the entire G1, cheated his way to a victory. So now he gets the title shot. Apparently, at the press conference, so I guess the Wrestle Kingdom press conference, Naito was like, Kota won the G1, he should get his shot. So he was like, obviously, I'll give the defense to, Jay, but I think Kota deserves his shot. And I think he was like, he can get it on the 4th. And he kind of threw it out there as a suggestion to New Japan, and then was like, if that doesn't happen, I'll boycott both nights. So, yeah.
Good guy Tetsuya. Did Tetsuya take a book out of our friend Ida? Is he going all honorable now? We all know that if this is my hero, Minoru Suzuki is absolutely Midoriya, right? Like, we know this. This is a fact. He's tiny, he's psychotic, and he constantly breaks himself for fun.
Now it makes sense,
right?
But the psycho half is 100% Koch count.
Oh God, yes. So Jay White defeated Kota Ibushi to win his opportunity, but Kota's getting an opportunity as well, so it really doesn't matter. This match is pointless. God, you gotta love solid booking like that. And then Naito defeated Evil to retain the heavyweight and intercontinental titles. I wish they would just start doing not best 2 out of 3 falls, but 2 fall finishes. Like, first fall is for the IC belt, second fall is for the heavyweight. Like, get creative with this. Like, allow both titles to not have to exist at once. It's kind of boggling, considering, like, you mentioned before, the U.S. title's in the U.S. with Dean Ambrose. God damn it, Marcus. John Moxley, look what you made me do. It's your fault.
To be fair, Ambrose has gotten more watchability with you anyway, so.
True. Although when Moxley's in New Japan, I'm very much a fan. I'm a fan of them combat shorts he wears. But, with the U.S. title in the U.S., with, so much upheaval with who can get booked and where they can get booked, you would imagine that you would want to separate these titles, which they haven't been in, what, 1.5 years? 2 years?
Yeah, I'm waiting on somebody to challenge him and be like, look, I want a shot, but I want a shot at that IC strap. Kind of how, like, I think it was, if not a year ago, then 2 years ago, when Kota wanted to get the IC title so he could kind of live up to the legacy of Tanahashi and stuff of that nature. But they got to do something. I don't know how much longer they're gonna keep this whole dual champion thing going, but I think the experiment at this point is over. Because they was able to do the one thing, and I think we talked about this before, where they could have as many titles as they do and still feel like they had each one relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Which is necessarily something we get a lot over here in the U.S., specifically with WWE. So for them to be able to do that, and I get it, it's convenient because, like you said, they can't necessarily get their full roster. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's like the IC title is the just the companion championship, and it's far more prestigious than that.
Yeah, I'm kind of just at this place though with these titles where it doesn't make any sense to keep doing this, and this is supposed to be the Smart Wrestling Company. And like, if it was just for Naito, okay, but they literally did a change in what, June, where Evil won both belts. So now you'll always have to deal with the fact that Evil's a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion. That's a stain that can't be undone. That's a bell that can't be unrung. I need pop for that one. So I don't know, like, this is just dumb. Let's talk more about dumb. Killing your career. That seems to be a big issue. And we have to be very careful about this because I don't want to denigrate her. But we said this needed to happen. You know, Kylie Rae made herself unsignable after having yet another mental breakdown for whatever reason, and we don't know the details about what happened. And frankly, I don't think it matters. There isn't really a good explainer for why you do what you do, and there really isn't a good or, you know, truly bad reason for, you know, mocking her. Like there's no situation which would justify mocking her, and there's no situation that would justify her behavior. So like there's really nothing to gain from any facts or any explanation. She no-showed. She didn't call in. I understand she has some mental disorders and some sociological disorders, but that's not an excuse. You still have an obligation to be a professional. She's not a professional. She retired from wrestling, and I don't think anyone is truly sad to see her go. I think we're all sad in which the onus as to why she's leaving is happening. I don't think anyone's like, yeah, fuck her. But I think we're all greatly disappointed that it's happening this way. But after failing to catch on with two different promotions and, you know, having just a litany of issues that have followed her, you know, this was the right call. There's no solid or conceivable reason why anyone would ever go, yeah, I want to sign her, because she's unreliable. And that's the unfortunate thing. You know, you're not taking, you know, it might be your favorite horse, but you're not taking your most unreliable horse to the track. You're not. And that's the sad thing. And if you're paying, you know, some decent pennies here to bring Miss Kylie Rae in, you better hope she's reliable enough to show up. Otherwise, why are you booking her? So this is just a sad situation, and it's one that's, you know, I don't know if she's ever going to have a second shot, because unlike injuries or even, you know, like addiction issues, this is a situation where clearly whatever's bothering her has not been dealt with or is being dealt with, and she's still having these issues. So it's really hard to justify signing her. It's like signing someone who keeps breaking their fucking neck. I'm not looking at Kurt Angle, but you could. You know, so it's kind of one of those things, like, this was the expected result for this. Like, we all knew this was going to come. I don't think anyone was surprised. And I think we're all glad to be kind of done with this, because clearly she's not in a good headspace. And we as fans deserve to have people who actually show up. It's kind of one of the reasons why Sid Vicious, you know, despite popping up on Raw in, what was it, 2011, never really took off again. You know, even as just as a Bret Hart, Goldberg kind of once in a while appearance guy. It's because he's unreliable. And, you know, even though Sid's reasons, you know, to our knowledge are different, it's not that different from what's going on with Kylie Rae and the fact that, you know, she's unreliable now. So, you know, it's sad. Marcus, any thoughts on Miss Kylie Rae retiring from wrestling due to her emotional issues?
Yeah, agree with you know, most of what you said, man. You know, it is sad because you know, hate to see somebody kind of, you know, have to seemingly end their career this way. But I'd rather her acknowledge that she can't keep moving forward unless she deals with this and pull out under her own fruition than, you know, decision being taken out of her hands because something went left, or she, you know, she got to a point where, you know, she couldn't necessarily come back from. Somebody had to make the decision for her. So, you know, I hope, you know, like you said, that she's getting the help for whatever issues she's going through. And at the end of the day, that's more important because, you know, I would imagine, just looking at it from a fan's perspective, that the business pro wrestling from, you know, all the sides that it takes to be a performer is tough enough, even when you are quote unquote mentally healthy and physically. I imagine it's taxing enough, on your psyche, your body, and obviously anything else. So, you know, um, like I said, it sucks, but hopefully, she gets on the other side of this and can just be cool. You know what I'm saying? The wrestling is just something she did. It wasn't 100% of who she was or defined her or whatever. And I hope she knows that. And like I said, get healthy because this year has been tough on everybody. But it seems like this may be something that she's been dealing for a while now, and hopefully, this is the point where she can kind of finally, address it properly behind her. But yeah, like you said, I doubt that she would be able to come back and get the amount of trust that she would have had beforehand because we don't know how this is gonna go. Um, the business trying to recover from this, so you know the people they have on hand, they have to be able to put 100% trust in. And like you said, if you've got somebody that's injury prone, to use another example, we've seen it happen with guys like Joe. Um, we saw what happened with Mark Henry after his Hall of Fame run. Like it sucks, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of lose trust because and not to the fault of their own, because nobody wants to purposely get injured, like that. But man, the human body is just something that breaks down on its own. But when you smack it into the equivalent, I think doctors talked about it, calling it like they almost get into a car wreck every time they slam into the mat. So when you're doing that every night, it's only a matter of time for the rubber hits the road. So God bless her, man. Like I said, I hope she gets cool. This leaves an interesting open spot in Impact. Um, be interesting to see who they may or may not bring in. But yeah, it was cool seeing her while we did. She was a hell of a performer.
Super talented, but this is the right move for everyone. It's the right move for Kyler. It's the right move for Impact. It's the right move for every booker because, while she's not to be the villain, when we talk about this, she's the catalyst for a lot of unreliability. So I don't want people to insult her, but she is the issue. And I'm glad that she's acknowledging that and stepping away because the last thing we need is to have, promoters out of money trying to book her because too many promoters are already bitching about, I can't afford to have doctors on site. Well, then the fuck you doing? Speaking of the fuck you doing, what is these goddamn fucking crappy ass graphics from this AEW game? Marcus, oh my God. I didn't realize they're going to be putting this thing on the GameCube because apparently that's the graphics we're getting. Like, this is bad, man. Like, these are just atrocious graphics. And the funny thing is like, someone's like, yeah, let's design our wrestlers after WWE All-Star characters. Do you remember that game?
No, that's the first thing I thought of. And then I saw it, like I saw Kenny Omega against Jericho, and then I was like, this is like in the vein of All Stars from an aesthetic perspective, but also they got Jericho's body type 100% full on at this point.
And is that a good thing? Like is Fat Jericho really what we want to be selling to people? Like, all right, so I know that's a Fat Jericho, man. I know he's a super spreader, but was he trying to turn the super spreader into super shredder? But he forgot the H. Jericho, if you host a concert, you'll kill everyone. Then so be it.
Not the demo god, but the diabetic god.
The flab god. The paunch god. Bear belly. Wait. What's his theme song called? Judas. Bear Bellius. Yeah. Fattest. Chubbs McGee.
Chubbs McGee.
Oh my God! This is and it's so bad. Like the trailer ends with like expect the unexpected, and then Kenny Omega gets laid out, and it's Sheeta, and you're like, wait, what? And then it's like where dream matches become reality, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, who the fuck is wanting to see Sheeta versus Kenny Omega? Are we all like, how collectively high are we to think that's a thing?
He's like, intergender's the future of wrestling video games. I'm like, it's not really. You could have always did it, just nobody did.
No one wanted to. Turns out booking Becky Lynch against Samoa Joe in real life is going to be a very bad idea. You know, I would love to see people who are like, yeah, Ronda Rousey could totally take Brock Lesnar.
I just feel like somebody's I just feel like as we speak, somebody's in the process of doing a side-by-side mashup of the old Impact game trailer to this.
See, here's the thing. The old Impact game is actually really good. You know, Powerbomb Jitsu and the Blurs, love them. They are so continuously wrong about everything in life. They flat out said that the Impact game was shit, and I'm like, no, you need to replay it because it's really not. Here's the thing with the Impact game. Marcus, did you ever play the Impact game?
Yeah, I played it. It had a lot of good fundamentals that needed to be built up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's a great base game. It doesn't have a lot there, but for 2008, the graphics are pretty interesting. The body model's not great, but you know it played really well. And if you had gotten a sequel for it, I think it would have been really good. I really do. But it's a very light game. But if you're just looking to like do matches and play the Ultimate X match, it's a lot of fun. But this, I don't know, man. Like, I love Yuke's as a developer. Yuke's is fantastic. And Cody tweeted out saying something. God, look at how chubby Jericho is. Ugh. God, stop drinking fucking bubbly and beer. Come on, man. Cody tweeted this out: a No Mercy style console game, a GM simulator game, a new T-shirt, and a mobile casino game. So apparently, they're releasing 3 games, I believe, is what's happening. So something for everyone, I guess. I guess the GM simulator game is going to be kind of in the vein of like EWR and all those games. Like if that's the case, you don't really need to worry about graphics. You just need to make sure the engine runs. And then a mobile casino game, that's AEW trying to, that's sketchy as fuck. Because they're gonna let kids download that shit. So that worries me. But then again, the idea of ethics and Cody Rhodes have been a combination that I have not used in some time, other than to say Cody Rhodes has no ethics. He's literally Triple H with a worse tattoo, although Triple H doesn't have any tattoos, so he's literally Triple H with a tattoo. An ugly one is that. So, like, I'm not surprised. I'm curious to see what this game looks like when it's finalized, but the graphics are gonna be shit. Like I'm more excited about the Retromania game that's coming out than I am about this fuck. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like I said, everything you said with the graphics and the looking like that WWE what that was, Legends or Titans or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean I'm interested to see the final product. Obviously, they wanted to give fans something to excite them about. I'll be interested to see maybe a final trailer or something, because if it's me and I'm 100% ready to drop something, I'll put a Kenny and the Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix to really show off some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like Pentagon for the graphics and stuff, and also the Phoenix to show some of the flying mechanics and whatnot. But like I said, they wanted to drop something to get fans excited. Look like they're trying to cover bases with the mobile games or whatever. But like you said, that is tricky with the kids and whatnot. But I guess they're making good on promises. They got the action figures out, because first people was wondering if they get TV. They got that. They locked that deal in. Then they got the action figures, and now they got the video game. So they chugging along, man. I give them that.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely putting out merchandise, and if you're Impact fans, or Ring of Honor fans, or MLW fans, you got to be kind of annoyed, because here we are. So I don't know, man. Like, it's definitely worth being excited about to a degree, but also it doesn't look great, and it feels very much like a project that they're going to worry more about what they want to see other than what's going to work with the fan base. And maybe that's the way to go, maybe not, but these proportions Like, man, I didn't realize Chris Jericho was going out for the addition of Fat Bastard. Get in my belly.
You are chubby on the outside.
Oh, God.
It's, yeah, it's. I wonder what he thinks about it. That'll be funny. I mean, it, like I said, it looked like the most accurate depiction. Like it almost looked like he may be less fat in real life. Then again, angles, camera angles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully, companies like Impact and stuff catch up as they continue on. Cause like I don't even think they have their new belts on sale.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Which sucks.
We've talked about before about how Scott D'Amore may not be the right guy to be doing shit. So, not surprised at all. All right, Marcus, any final thoughts before we hop to the underground?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, before we hop into the nerd basement, we're going to sign off. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. We're on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Marcus, you can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, on Twitter at TruePennyShow. You can find me on my Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. For Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. Be sure to download the show down below to find out more of the things we're talking about, including Ring of Honor post-Pure Tournament. Eric Rowan's getting a push in the Indies. I'm not sure if we should be concerned about that or not. So's Darren Young. See Eric Rowan. We'll also talk about the Rascals leaving Impact and more, so tune in down below. You're looking at another 20, 25 minutes worth of content for free, so enjoy. Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.